I'm about to share with you the craziest strength and conditioning story you've ever heard. My name's Andrew. I'm a strength and conditioning coach, and I've been a strength and conditioning coach for 13 years now. I've trained over 350 Division I professional athletes. I got a bachelor's degree in exercise science. I was in a master's program. I was here for the science of strength and conditioning, and I've been doing this for a long time. However, this was 2018. It's 2025 now. This was almost 8 years ago. I took this class. It's called RPR, Reflexive Performance Reset, with Cal Dietz, the triphasic training guy, and it changed more than just my perception on life. It changed my entire reality. And so I was in this class. I was really reluctant to take it, and I was just like, whatever. I don't want to learn any form of body work. I'm a strength coach. That's what I do. But the university had paid for us to take it, and I was like, whatever, it's fine. I'll go. I had tried to make excuses, and they're like, you have to go. And so I tried to get out of it. I went anyways. Thank God I did. Because in this class, we're learning the different spots, the techniques, like where to press, how hard to press, the warm-up drills, the wake-up drills. And the one along my sternum, right here in my sternum, right where the pecs, the ribs, the sternum is right in there. Kyle had me up in front of the class. He was just digging in there. He just kept going deeper and deeper. And he was having me do these things with my eyes where I'd look up and test if my arm went strong. And when I looked down, my arm went super weak. And I think I've had a bunch of concussions. I played football in college. And on the one where I went down, my arm went super weak. And he just started pressing so deep along my, just to the side of my sternum, really deep into my pec. And it was I was seeing all of these flashes in front of me of playing football in college and hitting someone and then getting hit and just all these and things I didn't even remember, falling off my bike when I was a little kid, or someone yelled at me, and it was just all this trauma that was stored in my nervous system. It was stored in my body. And I was starting to see how all that stored in my body was why my body wasn't moving efficiently. I didn't have fluid movement patterns anymore. I lifted so many weights, and I was so uncomfortable in my body. My joints hurt, my neck hurt, my back hurt, my hip, everything hurt. And when he released, he just kept going. He just deeper and deeper, digging in there. And everyone in the class said that my face just changed. All of a sudden there was this moment of and my face went white, or it just changed. And in that moment, my whole world changed. Everything that I thought that I knew was gone. The person that I was gone. And it was okay, well, now who am I? Who do I want to be? What? I was so confused. And so he was like, why don't you go out in the hallway? And I just broke down crying, tears of sobbing. And I was just it was euphoria. I was so better than psychedelics. I was so high and lightened. All the pain was gone. I was floating. I'm pretty sure I felt I could have levitated. And I was just crying in the hallway, and this guy walked by, and I was just this looks so weird. I don't even just say anything. He how do you explain this? And he kind of snapped his fingers, and I was gave him the thumbs up. I was I am the best I have ever been, man. And after I'd been out there for a while, time was kind of getting weird. It could have been a half hour. A lady from class came to check on me. She's like, you okay? And I was I have never been this happy in my entire life. And all the pain was gone. And I knew I was in pain. I was kind of grumbling all the time, oh, my back hurts, my shoulder hurts. I didn't realize how much the pain was affecting me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. I was really in a lot of pain. And when I walked outside, the whole sky was beyond anything I'd ever comprehended. It was there was electricity in the sky that I could just feel. And I was what in the world? Oh my, it was the heavens had opened up, and I was just what is this? And I remember I called my parents, and I was my neck pain is finally gone. Like, it's gone forever. Like, I'm never gonna have to deal with this again. And this is something I had since I was in 5th grade. Like, I've like worked on this a lot, like tried so many mental, emotional, physical techniques. Like, I tried everything to get this neck pain to go away, and nothing had even come close to this experience. And I was like, called my parents crying, and like, I was never a crier. I'm still not a crier. Like, I stopped crying when I was a little kid. This is probably like not a good thing, but like I do process my emotions, but I cried sobbing, and like I'm still not a crier to this day. I wish that I could. I try and I just can't. But I cried so damn hard, and it was just sobbing. It was just euphoria. And this lasted for a few days. Like, this wasn't just like a one time. Like, I changed so much. I was walking around with a box of tissues, and I was just like people. I would talk to someone I'd never even met before, and just be like, "I'm sorry, I was just so emotional right now." I was just crying, and like the next week, like we went to an airport, and there was a mural, like a kind of like a psychedelic looking mural on the wall, and I was just like, "Oh my god, it's so beautiful," and I just cried, because it was so beautiful. And so this was the beginning of my spiritual awakening. Like, this was when it started. Those next few days were like pure euphoria. Like, I went home and I was like, I know that the wall is solid. Like, obviously the wall is solid. And I also know that science tells us, like, the molecules are moving really fast. It's actually not solid. And before this, I never would have believed, before this experience, I never would have believed what I'm saying right now, but I felt like I could put my hand through the wall. I didn't try, I never did, but like, it felt like the physical structure of this reality was gone, and that everything was malleable. I could change things. It was weird. And I also got home, and I was like, the energy of my apartment is kind of weird. Like, I feel like some bad stuff went down here. Maybe someone died. I don't know. It felt like there was a ghost in there, and I was like really creeped out by it. And I was like, oh no, like, now I'm aware of ghosts, and I'm aware of spirits. They can come talk to me. And that was something I was not ready for, and I did not expect. And I mean, I didn't expect any of this really, but I was like channeling, downloading like energy, spirits, like all these things. It was crazy. And I would lay down like at night, and just get like so much information about myself, about what was going to happen the next day, about where I was going. And this brought a lot of confusion to me too. Like, I didn't know what to do with all of this information. I could also hear things. So I could be in my room, minding my own business, and I could hear conversations happening miles away, like people talking about me, and I could hear it in my head. And like, it sounds a little bit different when it's in your head, but I could hear it in my head. And that was super weird. I was like, I know that I'm not going crazy because this is real, but what do I was like, I'm definitely not telling anyone about this ever. And I didn't tell anyone for years that this happened. The other thing that happened that was crazy that I didn't tell anyone about for many years was, after this experience, it happened on, I think, a Friday, Saturday, came back to work on a Monday, and I'm in the weight room, sports science, doing some research, training some athletes, and I'm watching them move, and I could literally see colors around their muscles. Like, I could see their auras. And so, like, if a guy squatted too deep, I would see like red around his low back, or like his knee, if his knee hurt maybe. And then if a guy had a really good movement pattern, it's like kind of like across the rainbow. Like, red was the worst, orange was like a little better, yellow was better, green's good, blue's good, and then the darker the blue got, it almost turned like violet, was like the best. And I didn't realize this at the time. It took me a while to like figure this out. And that's when like, for me, I knew all of this, but like, everything changed. I was like, I knew that I was here to bring a different system, a different style of weightlifting, but that's when it like came to me as like, this is what I'm here to do, and this is how, not how, but like, this is what I'm doing. This is where we're going. But it was also so confusing because it was like, I can't be in grad school anymore. I can't be at the university anymore. I can't even be a strength coach anymore. I need to go learn how to navigate these energies that I'm perceiving, because I can't even live life anymore. And so everything changed for me. Like, I just walked away. I quit. I like quit my job. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And yeah, but before I get into that, the other thing I was seeing around the different colors around people's bodies, like, you remember the game Simon Says, where it's like red, green, blue, yellow, and you try to remember the pattern and repeat it back? That's what it looked like to me when I'd been studying the sequence of muscle firing, like creating this system for quite a while. It was like, I was done with it, actually. I'd finished, and I was like, we've got the system. I was pretty stoked. I was like, okay, we got it. I got it, not we. There was no one else helping me with this. I got the system. And then it was like, as soon as I finished, that's when I started to see the colors around people's muscles. And what I would see, like, if someone were to lay face down on a massage table and do a scapular retraction on their right side, say, their left glute might turn on, and that would be a red. Like, we don't want the left glute to turn on to do a scapular retraction. Or like lats or erectors or something else would turn on, and those would be like reds, orange, yellow. Like, we don't want that. When the athlete got the sequence of muscle firing perfect, it was like a violet color or like blue. And like the dark, like, it'd be a light blue would be good, dark blue was better, violet was like nailed it. And for myself, when I was putting myself through these exercises, when I do that scapular retraction and that one rep is perfect, I get like literal energy moves through my body. And I don't know how to explain this to people, but it's like a calmness, a release. You're like, whoa, that was a good feeling scapular retraction. Like, I'm sure you've done one rep of something, you're like, whoa, that felt so good. That's what they started to feel like. And I was like, okay, so we've got this Simon Says sequence of muscle firing, and when you do the rep perfectly, violet energy happens. And it took me, like, it's still unfolding for me, and like, I still see colors around people's bodies. And actually, after this experience, I was prominent for a few days, few weeks, even, where I had all these psychic abilities, and then they like really shut down because it was so overwhelming for me. I still had some, and I was just like, they'd kind of come on, I'd have to learn how to navigate it, and then it shut down. And it was like, it wasn't a linear thing by any means. And I had other psychic weird intuition things happen too. I'm not going to get too far into it, but like my like, if you've ever heard a story about a Kundalini awakening, I've met one person maybe that's like, dude, I had a massive Kundalini awakening, and like their third eye opened and everything changed. Like, this is what it was for me. Like, that's the closest that I could see energy, I could feel things. Like, everything changed. Like, my whole demeanor changed. Like, the foods I liked changed, the people I liked changed, the clothes I wore changed, my music taste completely changed. And so this thing sent me for a ride. Like, it's been 7+ years, and I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate all these intuition, all this energy, like, and integrate it into the sequence of muscle firing system that I've created to help people. And it's like, the system itself hasn't changed, the outline of it, but the way that we creatively work with it, that I creatively work with it, is, it's always evolving, it's always changing. It's just little tiny things, but those little minuscule things over years and years and years of, like, I've done 10,000 sessions in the last 13 years, and like, every single one I'm learning tiny little pieces, because I'm so present with athletes' body, and I'm watching their energy move, and I'm learning, what exercises are best, and I've got my core set of exercises that I always use and fall back on to help correct their sequence of muscle firing. But anyways, I've had to learn how to navigate, how to utilize this, and put it into a system so that I can teach other coaches. And these coaches don't have to come to me with like intuitive gifts or anything like that. I can teach them the system. It doesn't matter if you're research-based, science-based, energy-based, consciousness-based. I can teach it to anyone. It's like so simple and subtle, and like, once you see it, you'll never go back to your old way of working out, because you can feel it in your body. You get like this download of like, oh, this is the way that I'm supposed to move. This is the way that I'm supposed to train. And what I was doing before was actually kind of a disservice to my body. And like, trust me, I've lifted so many weights. I used to be huge. I could bench over 400 pounds, squat over 600 pounds. I played football in college, and I loved being strong, and I love lifting weights. But getting back to being super present in your body, like, strength, as strength coaches, like, strength is not the number one thing anymore. For me, it's like the sequence of muscle firing is the most important, and building stability in your body and being present with your body is far more important than being strong, because you can be so strong and just have leaking energies, lack of stability, imbalances, compensations. Like, as a really big strong guy, if you do a scapular traction, your left glute turns on so hard, that's leaking energy, that's a compensation. By correcting all of these, you're going to move so much more fluidly, and you can build the foundation. Then you can start to add the strength. But we're going for strength first. It's been like, that's what I did originally as an athlete and as a strength coach. And then I went, the most important thing is to change the order that our muscles fire in, to perfect our movement patterns, and then build strength once you have the foundation. You wouldn't build a house on an unstable foundation. But we're building strength on athletes that don't have the stable foundation. And as a strength coach, no one ever taught me how to build that stable foundation. This is the stable foundation that every strength coach needs to know. If you're not doing this, like, I can't think of anything else that you could do that would stabilize and build a foundation for an athlete better than this. And I've taken so many courses, and this is not a promotion for my course. I'm just saying that this thing is the one thing that if I would have known this as an athlete and as a strength coach, it would have changed everything. Like, I wouldn't have had injuries. I would have, like, performance would have been entirely, my career would have gone entirely different. My athletes' careers would have gone entirely different. And so what I'm getting at is being present in your body. Super, super number one important. And also, there's so much more to strength and conditioning than I originally thought. Like, I never thought that my strength and conditioning, which is like not a spiritual woo-woo thing, would take me down this journey. Like, I never would have imagined that in a million years. And here I am, and I've taken hundreds of like consciousness classes and all these things, and a lot of them were like weird and didn't really work for me. And once I found the modality that really did work for me, I loved it, and I took every class I could, and I did all that I could to learn that energy system, and I'm still learning it every single day, and it's beautiful and it's awesome. But if you're a strength coach and you're watching this, or if you're not a strength coach and you're just like, this dude has spiritual awakening, I want to hear about it, know that there is so much more to life. Like, you've been on autopilot. We're using less than 20% of our brains, and there is so much more that we have the capacity to be. And I'm not that every day. Some days I'm turned up to a little more than other days, yeah, and that's great. Those days feel awesome. And then there's other days where I'm turned down a little bit. I'm like, I'm not fully present. I'm tired. I'm whatever. I'm just like not as awake, not as conscious today. And that's okay. We all have that. But do the things to get more present every day. Like, check in with yourself, get enough sleep, eat good nutrition, but like, ultimately, we are energetic beings. We're not physical beings. And strength and conditioning is a physical thing, but you can become energetic through a physical thing. And I think mastering one thing, whether it's strength and conditioning or something else, when you get to that level of mastery, that's when you'll have this breakthrough that I'm talking about. That's when this happens. And that's really special. So I don't care if you're a librarian, if you're a maintenance person doing the yard work, you can be so present cutting individual blades of grass with scissors. Like, I don't care, whatever it is. And you can get to this energetic awakening regardless of what it is that you're doing. It could be the most monotonous, like, you're like on the factory line, like turning the thing, whatever. But know that there's so much more to this life than we thought. So I hope the story inspired you. My name's Andrew. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I'm going to be sharing a lot more on here. Subscribe to my channel and let me show you how I utilize this energy to help athletes move more efficiently, have more fun, and be more present in their bodies. Thanks for listening.